Hello guys, I got a 2014 Dodge Ram 2500 heavy duty 5.7 liter Hemi engine, and I'm going to show you if you are getting P0300, which is a Misfire, along with P0308, it's a cylinder 8 Misfire. If you're getting those two codes together, then obviously that tells me that you got some kind of problem on cylinder 8. Now, it could be multiple things. It could be one thing causing that other Misfire code to show up. It could be two things that are related. It could be one thing that's that you can fix and then get done with it. But there is a few things that you need to do to identify what the problem is. If you've done coil swapping, okay, if you've done coil swapping and you've done a compression test and you open the valve cover and your springs are not open, not broken, then check your push rods. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about this. So on these Dodge Ram, it's very common to have a problem with the valve springs, these springs. And in most cases, number 8 seems to be always a problem, where these springs break. There's the intake and the exhaust sides. They break, and then they're not, they don't provide enough compression on these two spark plugs using that one coil. And actually, let me back up a little bit and show you what I've done so far as taking this off. So this cover goes just like that. Okay, there isn't much into this, removing this cover. It's held by size 8 millimeter, and just remove, let's see here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. There's 10 bolts. These holes 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 are for these little plastic pieces to hold the electrical connections. And that's how to remove this cover. And first thing I did, actually, when I started looking at my scanner and found a problem with this, I wanted to isolate the coil problem. So I swapped this with number 1. That was not the problem. I still, P0308 showed up, and then after that, a little bit, the P0300 started showing up on my scanner. So I said, fine, it's not a coil problem. Then I looked at the spark plugs. Spark plugs were looking good. They looked just fine. So I was like, okay, that's not the problem. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and open this cover and look at it. So once I opened that cover, and this is what I found. I'm gonna show you guys what I found. One of them was bent. These are push rods. One of them was bent. And let me show you what the other one looks like. see how it was kind of rubbing into something where it was grinding and eating that. Let's see if I can. There you go. Look how it was rubbing into this. And that's not how it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like this end right here. Anyways, I went ahead and bought 2 of them from the dealer. Now notice how there's 2 different sizes. There's the intake and there is the exhaust. So the short one goes on the top side, this side, which is right here. And the long one goes at the bottom. And the reason why I'm recording this video, guys, is because the most common problem is always going to be a spring where these springs break. But in my case, it was the push rods. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing that bolt. And notice how, so when this was broken, this thing, here, let me see if I can get the camera in. So the push rod goes into this hole right here, and the other one goes into this hole on this side that you can't see. It looks just like identical to this one here. And when I opened the valve cover, this was sitting just like that. So it wasn't really pressing on the spring here. So I'm going to go ahead and start loosening these bolts. They're size 10. Put the push rods in first. Put the screw back in. Do the same thing with this here, the rod. Remove this, start loosening them up. Put the other one in. Put the valve cover back in and test things up. I'm not going to be able to record this while I do this work, but it's fairly easy. If you got to this point and start loosening these bolts and put this push rods, remember the short push rods is going to go on the top. This is one of them here. This is one of them. The bottom one is right there. This is bottom. Here, let me see if I can focus. This is bottom. This is top. This is top. And there's no, actually, wait. Yeah, this is top, top, top. And then bottom, 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 bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I'll get back to you. So guys, I'm back. I had to put my camera away for a few minutes to put the push rod in. I wasn't able to hold the camera at the same time, but one thing I was going to show you is you actually don't have to remove this column here, this bar, out of the way. Just loosen these bolts off is enough. So make sure you verify that all these push rods are sitting on the hole or on the space that's designed for it. So I put all of them in, and you see this one right here, right there. This is connected. This is good. This is good right here. And right there, they're all good. You don't have to remove the whole piece off. You can do it without removing it. So this is done. I'm going to start screwing these bolts in. Make sure they're sitting in its place, and we'll work on the bottom one. Thanks. Okay guys, I put the bottom one in, the push rods at the bottom, so it's good. It's not moving now. All of these are good. and it's looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the valve cover gasket just like that. The plugs, electrical plugs, need to be pointing to the left of the car on my right. I'm gonna slide this in and put it in, and I'm gonna actually remove those coils before I do that, just because it's easier to put the valve cover valve cover back in, and we'll start the car and we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, folks. All right, guys, everything is back in. Remember, the valve cover bolts are size 8, coils are size 10. Put those back in, then you put the cover back in, then the intake tube and the air box with a filter. I did start the vehicle. Problem is solved. Again, this is on how to show you damage with the push rods on cylinder 8, engine code misfires on cylinder 8 P0308, and then it caused random misfires P0300. The 300 is caused by the 308 when this problem happens. But what kind of made me think that it was a problem with the cylinder 8, one is the code that I got on cylinder 8, and then second was the random misfires was the compression test. The compression test that I did on cylinder 8 was giving me only 25 psi, and on those engines at least you should get 140, 150 at least, and I had on cylinder 8 was 25, so that kind of led me to be a problem with cylinder 8. And when I opened the cover, I found those push rods were broken. Again, in some cases it's the spring that's broken. In other cases it's the push rods that are bent or just worn out, or whatever the case may be. But you need, most likely you're going to have to open that valve cover gasket, valve cover, to see the problem. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a feedback or comments if you have any questions. Have a good day if it's a daylight, and have a good night if it's a nighttime or evening. Take it easy, folks.